Hi, how are you today? It's a fantastic day today. Uh, I'm going to talk about one of the subjects that is so important in my life. The topic is philosophy. Philosophy is the love of knowledge, and as I am a lover of knowledge, it's really what it's really translate. It is wisdom. The wisdom that we have is the structure of our thoughts. Ever since Aristotle said that we can go ahead and structure our thoughts to make sense of what we see, we touch, and around the surroundings that we perceive, that type of logic, he did it in a very nice formulated format. And he went like this. Socrates is a philosopher. Socrates is a man. Therefore, all men are philosophers. In this way, the argument was not to be logical per se, but to make sense of our structure of thought. And of course, the end result of this structure of thought would be to be wise, to obtain wisdom in our everyday lives. Nowadays, because we have this crisis going on, uh, people try to make sense of what they experience and about how difficult it is to be enclosed with no sight near in sight, no relief near in sight. So what they do, they get a little bit uneasy with their thoughts. They start to fear that this might not be true, because as always, we follow what is tangible, what we perceive is true, what it is out there, instead of realizing that most of our reality doesn't come from the outside. It comes from the structure of our mind, how we perceive reality inside of us. And that to me is much more important, to straighten the mind out than just to be fearing the outside, the uncertainty, the anxiety that we have for not knowing when will this uh, virus end, or when will we get uh, uh, a relief from this virus with a miracle medicine or cure, a vaccine. And so we're waiting. We're waiting, desperately waiting, and therefore our mind starts to wander on conspiracy theories of what should have happened or why something happened. And we go on and on with no structure of thought, no structure of thought foundation, and therefore we kind of go into the loose end of things. We don't want to go ahead and get our arms and go and protest our liberty and try to shoot the virus with an M16. We That is not so well taken by a reason or a logic. But we want to go ahead and be sensible to ourselves and to others. We want to make sure that we are lover of wisdom. To obtain wisdom, we have to love wisdom. And what is wisdom? My sense of knowledge is a sense of knowledge of what we see and know for sure that that's going to be the result or the outcome of an experience or of a thought experience. Philosophy was created basically 2,500 years ago, when men started to wonder about the world outside. Before that, any type of explanation of an earthquake, of a hurricane, of a disaster, of a plague, of a virus was interpreted by myth. Now, myth is a story to explain what the unexplainable, to make sense of the world outside of us. And we've been doing that for thousands and thousands of years. So we are able to provide another myth or another conspiracy theory for what's happening now. But the Greeks had a better view of things. They said that we must obtain knowledge and through that wisdom in our lives. Knowledge starts like a seed, what we now call data, bits of data, little bits of knowledge, basically, or information that we have all throughout the media, all throughout the computers and newspapers and gossip in the world. But that little data becomes, when it accumulates into what we call big data, but in reality, it becomes knowledge. Information becomes knowledge, and knowledge is information applied to experience, applied to everyday life, applied to circumstances that we know of the past. And we predict the future by that past. Now, when that knowledge is applied to us, wisdom is the foundation of our thought. It makes sense for us to be human, totally human. We don't understand this virus because it doesn't have humanity, a dimension of humanity in it. That's why it's strange, it's alien, and it cannot be understood because our dimension of understanding is based on our humanity. And what is our humanity? The applied knowledge that we have of ourselves, our human emotions, our human knowledge, our human reaction to the outside. And also, for us, in order to combat this virus on a mental basis, we need to go ahead and apply wisdom to it. That reality, it's outside of our human dimension. Therefore, it cannot be understood. It cannot be set apart or applied to our human puzzle. It's a puzzle piece to our reality. Philosophy not only does that, it has several areas of endeavor, of investigations, and of knowledge. One is metaphysics, the nature of our reality. As you can see, I already given to you a reality that is human, our human reality. The Greeks used to say, and even the Romans, and even the Renaissance man used to say, man is the nature of everything. We try to implement, apply our human culture and reality to everything, or we like to bring everything of this universe inside of our human dimension. And so in this way, it can be part of us or we part of them. St. Francis of Assisi said one time that he started to call the moon my sister moon. He started to call the sun my brother sun. He started to call the animals of the forest my brothers and sisters. He tried to bring them into the human dimension, our human dimension of reality. It didn't make sense when you see that the moon can never be a brother or sister. But for St. Francis, it was. He changed the way that we see the outside by implemented our human reality to the outside. And he was very successful. So metaphysics is study of reality, but when you come to think about it, there's seven realities. The reality is given to us, like this virus, out of the blue, out of the nowhere it came. The reality that we make when we apply our human reality to everything else. And then we personalize it like a poet. A poet always sees a tree and he personalizes it in this way. The tree raises its branches to the sky and pray to God. We know that trees don't pray. We don't know even if the branches are up, we don't know if they're praying. But for the interpretation of the poet, it's an applied reality given to a non-human entity. So we do that. Poets do that. Indians do that. My brothers Indians do also the same thing when they start at my brother river, uh, my brother rain. So we do that in a way to make control of what we cannot control, to create a bondage of the alien in this universe with us. We die and our rock and stones die with us. That's how much we can implement our humanity to inanimate, innate things. But there's another reality. The reality that we experience without our intention, without our will. It comes subtle, it creeps into our own reality, and it transforms us, it changes us. That's why we talk in religious sense of conversion, of baptizing, of transformation of the self, that you lose your old ways and you create new manner of being. So that's three aspects of realities that we make. Now, there's another field of philosophy, which is very interesting, the field of epistemology. Epistemology is the study of knowing. What is it that you know? And why is it that you know it? And what is really knowing in us? Epistemology, I can go ahead and say that has several branches, but for the sense of time, lack of time, I can go ahead and say that the end result basically is that whatever you know, you become it. Just like the Buddha used to say, what you think is what you are. What you eat is what you are. What you dream is what you are. What you breathe is what you are. Everything in the universe is transformed or transmutated or commutated into being because we are beings separate from other parts of the universe. Another field of philosophy would be ethics. Oh, I love ethics. In the good book says that the last judgment of the universe and of everybody else here would be based on how good you were to others or how bad you were to others. the universe is just a big judgment day, that we are judged based on our performance. It reminds me of school, that they judge you according to your performance. Even though you're a teacher, they judge you of your performance even though you're a student trying to learn. This whole grading state. But anyway, ethics is how you deal with others. And why is it that you deal with others? What the motive of you dealing with others? Harshly, severely, kindly, lovingly, has a lot to do with us. Again, we bring it into the realm of our humanity. The other subject of philosophy is very interesting, is politics. How we govern ourselves, how we govern others, how we govern the nature, how we govern the world. Well, I could go on and on because I love philosophy. But the message that I just want to convey to you today, tonight, is let us formulate thoughts that are logical, reasonable, based on wisdom, and find wisdom in everything that we do and see and perceive. Otherwise, this crisis, you will find people running around with arms, weaponry, creating hate, making insanity in an everyday life. We need to go ahead and start learning wisdom and become philosophers, like Socrates used to advocate, like Plato used to see that as long as philosophers are kings, we have a better government than this one that we have. God bless you.